Ohio, where a man who survived a brutal police beating after a traffic stop in 2017 is now claiming victory. Why? Well, the officer that accused him has been convicted of assault and interfering with that man's civil rights. Let's get a picture of the officer up here. Euclid police officer Michael Amiott now faces jail time for the attack. Now, Richard Hubbard III was the victim. Now, Hubbard and his girlfriend were on their way to the bank when they were pulled over by Amiott for not coming to a complete stop while making a right turn at a red light. No biggie, you'd think. Well, after Amiott discovered Hubbard's license was suspended at the time, Hubbard was asked to step out of the car. Once Hubbard stood outside of the driver's side door, the encounter, it quickly turned violent. Now, what we know per the Atlanta Black Star, which has provided this screenshot here from the encounter, is that Amiott can be seen kicking and punching Hubbard. And once he's on the ground, Hubbard can be seen on dash cam and bystander video being slammed several times onto the street and punched by the officer while in a prone position. Now, we also have this from the Atlanta Black Star. Hubbard was charged with resisting arrest and not following police instructions, but those charges were later dropped. Following a 45-day suspension after the violent arrest on October 13, 2017, Amiott was fired from the Euclid Police Department for violating department policy. A year later, an arbitrator ruled that Amiott must be rehired to the Euclid Police Department, given back pay and complete additional training. Meanwhile, Hubbard and his girlfriend filed an excessive force lawsuit against the city of Euclid for $450,000 that the city agreed to pay in April of 2021. Now, this Euclid resident and community activist named Richard Montgomery is one of thousands who saw the viral video earlier on and supported Hubbard. He also realized accountability would be hard to come by, relying on local prosecutors. So he exploited an Ohio law to help Hubbard and his attorney find a path to justice. Yeah, that's right. The Atlanta Black Star explains Ohio is just one of the few states where citizens can petition a judge to arrest someone if they feel like they have sufficient evidence. Montgomery described in the mechanism he used to join the effort to help Hubbard get justice. Ohio Revised Code 293509 says a private citizen having knowledge of the facts who seeks to cause an arrest or prosecution under the section may file an affidavit charging the offense committed with a reviewing official for the purpose of review to determine if the complaint should be filed with the prosecuting attorney. So nearly 5 years after the arrest, Amiott was essentially found himself facing a trial with possible jail sentence looming ahead. And after a week of testimony, well, the jury took 5 hours to find him guilty, interfering with Hubbard's civil rights. That is a huge win there, as far as I'm concerned. And sometimes you can't rely on prosecutors to get the job done. And so seeing a citizen take matters into their own hands and using the legal system to ensure that individual civil rights are preserved and that the bad guy is held accountable, it's a damn good thing, and I appreciate it. Ben, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, Adrienne. I mean, it's nice to know that there's a couple of states that at least accidentally have a law on the books, it seems, to be able to enforce some justice on people who egregiously abuse their power. I don't understand where in the police training comes this seemingly consistent piece of training that makes clear to them that when somebody is subdued fully and is on the ground, it's okay to continue punching them and kicking them and attacking them as aggressively as possible. Seems like that would be obvious. That is something that is not needed to be done, should never be done, and they do it because they can get away with it. So to know that a concerned citizen cared enough to help find this law that apparently you can skip around a grand jury, you can skip around a prosecutor needing to file charges, you can go right to a judge and be like, basically a citizen's arrest of even a police officer is a pretty exciting development. Not that it should ever be exciting when something like this happens, but when there's so much injustice that occurs, it's nice to know that there are occasionally moments when justice can still be found and there is some recourse for people to send a message to law enforcement everywhere that your job is to keep us safe, and that's it.
Yeah, exactly. The whole protect and serve thing seemed to fly by that officer, but now the officer is going to be held accountable because really the guy is accused of what? Not fully stopping on a red to make a right turn. Get the hell out of here. Ain't nobody got time. And also this is just something that will cost citizens in terms of paying for these civil rights settlements. And so that hopefully, these officers get it through their heads.